Hey, what's going on? COMM 3370. I'm Professor Ben, and we are here to talk about this week's social media marketing topic. And what is this week's social media marketing topic? Week 7, social media analytics. Those numbers, that back end stuff, those on those business platforms, or if you have like Salesforce or Hootsuite or HubSpot, we can pull all this together and show you how are you doing. How many people are you reaching? How many people are clicking? What's your sentiment value? What time of day, night? When are your people online? I mean, analytics are, it could teach a whole semester's class on social media analytics and how to find them, how to analyze them, and then after you analyze them, how to use that data and take that data and make an educated decision on the changes to make to your social media. I tell people this all the time. I've told students this for years. Everybody does social media. Everybody's like, oh yeah, I can get on here and I can do this, but not everybody analyzes their social media. Don't be a social media poser. Don't be somebody that just says, oh, everything I do is great, and I just put it out here, these ads, these post boosts, these videos, these pictures. But again, not everything is going to work. And sometimes some things won't work, and you'll leave them and you'll come back to them maybe months or like a year later, and then they do work. I mean, it's an ebb and flow. And so how do we find that? How do we be like, this is how we do social media? This is how we understand social media. And so essentially, I've talked about this. Where is my notes? There it is. Essentially, and I've talked about this, we are in the job of psychology. We are in the job of understanding our audience, understanding our demographics, and then taking that audience, that group of people, and then figuring out how to talk to them, how to maybe persuade them to buy a cup. What's the big cups right now, man? The Stanley Cup. The Stanley Thermos Cup. But I mean, I love these, man. These are my Tervis tumblers. Go Hoosiers. Hoo. And there's no better way to do that than those analytics. And every single platform now natively on the platform offers you some type of numbers and offers you a way that you can look at these and you can be like, this is X, Y, and Z, or this was really good, or this was really good and this just didn't work. And that's okay, some people, some PR, marketing, communications professionals go years without ever analyzing anything. And then they're just shooting in the dark. Your efforts are being wasted. I've never met anybody, including myself, that every single thing that I do on digital media or social media works. So I'm like, oh yeah, all this works. Well, no, I've had my fails. I've had some just knock it out of the parks. I've had all types of medium type of, it did okay, but didn't do the best. So maybe we change this up, and I switch things up. I change things. Just because you have this social media plan written for 90 days or 180 days for half a year, who knows, whatever, and that you're following it, you can deviate from that. And that's hard for some people to understand. And I tell them that all the time. Don't be afraid to deviate from that plan. And how do we do that? With social media analytics, and then it helps us understand our audiences and the behaviors. So in all of these social media posts and links and web videos and pics, what are we doing? You don't just throw something up there. Hopefully, you're into the point where you understand a campaign, and you have a campaign that might be running on different social media platforms. It might be running on traditional media as well as social media. And so how good was that campaign? I've run multifaceted campaigns before that have billboards, that have radio, that have television, that have social media ads, that have blogs, that have web videos. I mean, you name it, man. The whole 180, and you have to look at that. Did that do good? What did good? What did bad? Because you can't keep doing the same thing. You might be wasting money. You might be wasting your time. Efforts of other people within your marketing and communications departments. So using analytics helps you measure. Hey, this did good. Did this make the necessary things happen? That was our expected ended outcome. And so essentially, using it with campaigns, just like everything else, helps you make more of an educated business-like decision. The other thing analytics can do, and you can look at a lot of analytics, and you can look at analytics for things trending, you can analytics for literally hashtags, I mean anything on the internet now, it seems. And watching these analytics and seeing what's doing good and bad helps you identify what I would say is like, trends that are happening right now. What's going on and opportunities that you can take, and you can do this strategy or tactic along with your social media. You never know what you're going to find. And and that's the nice thing about using social media analytics. Be open. Know that, again, not everything's going to work. And it might tell you, hey, even though you thought that your group of females age, let's say 25 to 40, that are at least mothers of one, that are working at least part-time, instead of being talked with early in the morning, they really like after 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. I've seen that, man. I'm like, oh yeah, these people, they're on at this time, but completely like blew it out of the water. And like everybody's like, no, it's this time. So you can see those types of trends and make those adjustments as needed. It's wild. All right. Also in analytics, understanding sentiment. Now in analytics, you can look at just the core things: likes, comments, reshares, whatever emojis were put onto it. But you can also measure sentiment as this being looked at more of a positive way or negative way. Are people interacting good or bad to this? And this is something that you can measure now. And so in the long run, it really helps you with your customers. It helps you enhance that online digital customer experience and take that and use that for your true benefit. And that's the whole goal that we're doing today with digital media as well. We want to enhance, find new ways to interact and chat with our customers and have that two-way, not necessarily one-way, communication more, but two-way back and forth. So if you do all these things and you're like, okay, I'm looking at my analytics, I'm looking at my sentiment, I'm doing my report once a month and my quarterly report, then my annual report, and then really taking some time to think about your people. Hopefully you do have your demographics or your audiences already set, so you know who you're talking to and why. You can see business growth out of this. You can see more of a return, better ROI. It does work. I found in a previous employer, when I did switch up my times, that I was talking to people and doing more of my general posts, it brought people in like 50, 60. So it brought people in 50% more people were coming and actually looking at our social media posts. And then from that, from some other things, which were basically admissions to the hospital, I was able to collate using social media, having better sentiment, reaching more people, with people asking questions and interacting with actual physical hospital admissions. And that was my goal. I was talking to people. I worked at a hospital, and we wanted them to come to us if they needed rehabilitation services, inpatient or outpatient. So social media analytics, go for them. Check it out. I sent you some links this week that go over all types of good plans and good suggestions for doing this. But the one thing I tell everybody, and I want to leave on this, is there's not one single piece of software, still to this day in 2024, and I've been doing this now for 20 years, There's not one piece of software that can just automate all of those numbers that you need to successfully make some conclusions. So even though I might be using HubSpot, and then I got Salesforce, and then I got the native numbers from like Facebook and Twitter X, so forth, I find myself putting them together into one centralized document. Because again, it just, to my liking and the people that do this, there's, for a living, analytics and just, look at numbers and analyze, there's not one thing that can really truly yet bring it all together. And people are writing their own softwares and trying to develop this. But my professional opinion, nothing yet does it 100% great. So you have to pull from a few different sources. Last week, artificial intelligence. We'll talk about that. We'll see where AI is taking you and what it's already done to communications and what it's going to continue to do as it gets crazier and crazier and smarter and smarter. I'll see you later. Thanks. Bye.